So, welcome to Capricorn, the most predictable pattern, right? I don't know who won. Most of you could have lost. Most of you were thinking I was going to go into Leo. But Capricorn. So, we're going to do Capricorn Ascendant. And yes, you can also take this as a Capricorn Moon and see the chart from there as well. Both will be as valid. Okay? So as you know, and as always, if you don't know what planet is going over which planet, what your ascendant is, you can go to Astrology.com where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, especially my transit reading, where you can actually get exactly how things are going to be manifesting, because one planet is going to be somehow affecting the other planet, which is more important. This is just a foundation thing. And my marriage course is active, where I'm especially tonight I'm going to be uploading Venus and Libra, and I'm going to go into so many things. Do you know, just by the karna, I can see the situation of your marriage. That's what I'll teach you guys. So, for Capricorn people, Jupiter is transiting into the 6th house in Gemini retrograde. Right? And then Rahu is in the 2nd house in Aquarius. So here the double transit is happening on the 2nd and the 6th house. So right now, Jupiter is retrograde till March. What is going to be happening? Here, a person is going to make repeated attempts to improve something related to their health and debt. And this is actually the one transit of Jupiter that, especially when it comes to health or finding some better solution, this is the best period. Let's say you have been frustrated with your health and you're like, I'm just sick and tired of going from one doctor to another for the past 5 years. I'm going to tell you one thing. Just give one more try. Actually, not even give one more try. Repeated try before March 11th. In those repeated tries, you will see a light will be seen related to your health. You're trying to pay off some debt. And you're like frustrated. Why is it that I can't pay it off? Why is it that I can't pay it off? Why is this interest is just increasing? Kind of like the US debt, right? This particular Jupiter transit in the sign, in the sign of Gemini, while it's in Punarvasu Nakshatra in retrograde, is going to bring in light to solve your issues of debts, enemies. Meaning you can suddenly find a company. Let's say you're in huge debt. You have no idea how you're going to pay this off. You suddenly find an actual legitimate company that helps you lower down, like a debt consolidation company that helps you lower down your interests. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen like a balance ever being bringing down until you file a BK, but you can find from 29% interest to like 3% interest. So you can see, okay, I'm decreasing my debt now. Jupiter in the 6th house in Gemini. Okay. You will see many repeated calls will happen related to your relatives. Somehow connection with relatives will be happening in this particular transit of Jupiter. On the other hand, Jupiter brings multiple chances. Okay, and actually here, if you're in business as a Capricorn ascendant, this is the best time period for having multi-folds of luck and success in your work. Actually, job as well. I shouldn't just be saying business. Actually, job actually will be better even. This you should be right now. The foundation is that it's supposed to be giving you some repeated opportunity. Like somebody just like texting you, calling, listen, why don't you take this opportunity? Why don't you take this offer? How about this? I can get it increased by 10%. They want you. There would be these offers. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. Like, sometimes you can actually let go of a good opportunity, especially in your astrology chart. If you're going in a Jaimini Charadasha, if you look, and you're going into the Dasha Nantra Dasha of Virodha instead of Argala. then that job that you take will become the obstacle. Okay. So that's what happens. There are all these different things that you can look at. But the thing is, you will find many opportunities actually from faraway places, foreign places, and you know, even opportunity given by people of a completely different sector religion than you. Why? Because remember, Rahu's in the second house in Aquarius and Satapishak Nakshatra, looking at Jupiter, who's in the Punarvasu Nakshatra. We're talking about a hundredfold and multifold situation here, and both are looking at the 10th house. Both are looking at the 10th house, where the sign of Libra is. So I will probably will see many Capricorn ascendant people from January onwards. Because especially, why am I saying January and not right now? Because right now we're in the year of the 9. Mars. We're going to go into the year of the 1, which is Sun. Mars is about starting a fight. Mars is about getting up. You know, like, okay, I'm going to get up and do something. So Mars is like giving you that motivation to get up. But what does Sun represent? Sun says success. Sun says you got up, you did something, I'll give success. So now with certain ascendant, not even certain, any ascendant can be getting any kind of a success depending upon exactly what dasha and transit is happening in your chart. But on this particular scheme of broad perspective, broad analysis, we can see Capricorn ascendant person will begin to find success. Okay, because now if let's say you look at the year number 1. So year number 1 is going to be activating your 4th house. Okay, so the 4th house becomes active. First of all, 4th house is the throne. 4th and 5th house are both our throne. One is ruled by moon, one is ruled by sun naturally. Okay, 5th house is usually the gain of the throne. Not game of throne, gain of the throne. So when we see that Rahu and Jupiter are going to be looking at the 10th house till early June while Jupiter is direct. So year number 1 becomes very potent, and especially Saturn is transiting the 3rd house. 3rd house Saturn is like, I want to work, I want to put my effort into things. And especially here, one loves to work hard for siblings. You will see, one will naturally have to spend money on siblings, exhaust their time on siblings. Now, the thing is, if you're past the age of 36, actually what happens is relationship with the siblings dissolves. Whether they're there, they're not there, whatever. Something always happens. It just dissolves. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just there's a distance that comes in actually sometimes. Like, for example, the brother is in one country, sister now moves to another country. You know, they still love each other, they still talk, but now there's that absolute distance. So it does happen at one point. But here we see that big responsibility of this person will be towards their communication, towards their children, towards their travels and expense, especially for Capricorn people. Your investments, donations, expenses are going to be the main thing that Saturn's going to force you into. It's not something you can just avoid. It's going to force you. It's like if you try to run away, it'll like hold it like this and bring you and dump you. That here, deal with your expenses. Budget your expenses. Start focusing on investment and increasing your investments. And for God's sake, give some money into the world for those who are unprivileged. Saturn's going to do this. That's his job. But also, on the other hand, you see when Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer in the 7th house, the double transit of Jupiter and Saturn is going to be on the 3rd house. Right? So Jupiter, in a way, benefic aspect begins to help Saturn that whatever effort you're putting, now let me give you a much bigger result. But yes, in this particular transit of Jupiter in the 7th house shows you have to deal with expenses related to the spouse and marriage. Usually a marriage can happen and suddenly you're going to spend a big money on your marriage. This doesn't mean that just because Jupiter enters the 7th house, you're going to get married now. This is something I'm going to teach you in my marriage course. That it's not some just transit. Transit, all these things become helpful things. But there's 2 or 3 different types of calculations. And when you meet the criteria of these 3 calculations, you're like, this is when it's going to happen. This is when the marriage is going to be happening. Or the strongest concentrated potential of marriage is going to be happening. But Jupiter here simply says, I am going to be bringing a lot of communications with other people and especially long distance connections with people. But especially in the point of marriage, you will see that spouse will love doing a lot of expense and they'll put expenses on you. You will see there will be these themes after June where you'll get into your fight with your spouse because it took your credit card and then probably went on Amazon or a computer or something and just bought something for themselves because they didn't want to spend it on their own. These things happen. Also, this is very important for Capricorn Ascendant people. For 1 year, if let's say your Jupiter is direct in your chart, for 1 year, lower down your religious activities. You can keep your spiritual activities increased. Meditation, sadhana, right? You're going within that shunyata. But, geez, I just close my eyes for a little bit and then stuff starts happening. But, yeah, lower down your religious activities. When Jupiter enters the 7th house, when you do too much religious activities, it hurts your marriage, damages your marriage. Unnecessary fights happen. Fights that you didn't want, fights that you're like, really? We're fighting over this? That's what happens. I'm just saying just 1 year. Once Jupiter leaves, then go back to your whole thing related to, your religious activities. But especially if, let's say, Jupiter is going over Jupiter, that means you have Jupiter in the 7th house naturally, then you need to definitely lower that temperature down. And you should know. I always tell people, don't trust me, test me. Find somebody with Jupiter in the 7th house, see if they're doing a lot of religious stuff in their home and see how their marriage is. Simple. Especially, and you will see this 100% if Jupiter becomes the Karna Lord and sits in the 7th. Okay. While also if you see Ketu's in the 8th house in Leo. Right? So right now you will see a lot of talks related to inheritance begins to take place. Insurance begins to take place. There's a natural attachment and detachment that takes place with your in-laws. For a while, either you move and you get separate from in-laws are traveling, in-laws are going to a different country, seeing a different sibling. But there is that distant, but also if the distant is not there and there's this closeness, the fire of Ketu disturbs that relation. Meaning, either they or you will make a headless, egotistical comment that destroys that relationship for a while. Okay? And naturally with Ketu in the 8th house, many Capricorn people, that means not old ones, new ones who have never even cared about Vedic astrology or astrology, there's new interest Ketu's going to generate. He's going to say, okay, here Kara's channel, here's a new batch of people that are now interested in astrology. Remember, Ketu, when it either has Jupiter go over it or Ketu goes over Jupiter, when Ketu transits the 8th house, shows the beginning of interest in the occult, beginning of interest in the mystical science. And especially with Rahu transiting into the 2nd house in Aquarius and Satabishak Nakshatra, your taste buds become very exotic. One, even if you're a vegan, you will desire to add something new. Like, you'll just be like, I can't do this. Many a time, actually, this Rahu can break those penances that you have. Like, okay, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan. Person actually goes back to certain new patterns or old patterns with this Rahu. Rahu here definitely provides 100 different solutions for your financial issues. Okay. You get invited to many different places, many different occasions with family. So it's not like right now. I just entered right now. Wait till you got a whole 2026 to deal with this. Okay. And also in the family, if somebody's dealing with some chronic health issues, Rahu can suddenly provide some oral medicine that can take care of that chronic issue. Now, especially with Jupiter, Jupiter is going to be in the 7th house, right? In the nakshatra of Pushya. And so, on one end, especially for married couples, you will see that now, before if spouse didn't, from June onwards, you will see slowly for the whole year. And it's going to be intense. Actually, it's not going to be slow because remember, Jupiter is Atichari in the sky. Its speed is really fast. Okay. That means this effect is going to be very strong and very fast. Meaning the spouse suddenly feels like you need to listen to them. You need to take their advice. They become a natural preacher. They become a teacher, preacher, father figure, like the George Michael song. Okay? And nobody likes that. Nobody likes to be preached unless, somebody who wants to be, somebody who feels needy, somebody who feels like I want somebody to take care of me, love me, caress me. So they like that okay, this person is wanting me to listen to them because they're going to be taking care of me. There's that feeling, right? Or especially when you're new in a relationship, you're going to have that feeling. But the thing is, when it's in a situation of like legal marriage, it becomes a torment. It's like you suddenly feel like you're married to a professor or a guru. Okay, and all the suggestions, okay, whatever suggestion the spouse gives, unless it has something to do with your investments, okay, might be of a good advice, but usually this is the Jupiter that naturally will kind of bring losses for you. Like their advice becomes that loss for you. Or it is an expensive advice. See, that's another thing. The advice will become very expensive. Expensive as in like, not like expensive, like expanding. Expensive as in it'll cost you one way or the other. Monetarily, mentally, psychologically, physically. Somehow it causes that. Okay, because Jupiter is Jupiter. Jupiter is going to do what it's going to do. Okay, I don't care if it's a lord of 4th, 5th, 10th, or 12th, or 3rd, like in this case. Jupiter is a preacher. Jupiter is going to preach. So for 1 year, spouse is going to become that. Unless your Jupiter is in the 7th house, then you won't even notice. Because you know this is the person. So when they try to preach, let them preach. They want to. Actually be a helping hand. Sure, preach me. Let's see how good you are at teaching. Let's see how good you are at dictation. Okay. And then you'll also see with this Jupiter and Saturn, because Saturn is in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, goes into Revati, towards middle of 2026, then retrogrades back into Uttara Bhadrapada. And this is a Lakshmi ruled nakshatra. Jupiter is in a Pushya nakshatra, which is naturally is known as the emperor of the nakshatra. So with this double transit of Jupiter and Saturn shows that a person, when you tend to either travel to gain some effort, communicate to gain some effort, doing things related to R&D, marketing, sales, you tend to get money. Saturn wants to give you money. So if let's say any of you Capricorn ascendant people are doing foreign travels for your work, meaning you're working for family businesses, you're working on oil, petroleum, and then you have to go to this country and that country. If you do any foreign travels, June onwards is going to be your early Christmas most of the year. And you must take advantage of it. If any opportunity comes to travel, to make a sale, to make some business deal happen, say, yes, I'll take it, give it to me. Now, out of that, who will win or who won't? If 10 Cancer or 10 Capricorn ascendant people do this, definitely 5 or 6 will get them. Why is that? Because again, we want to see, is the dasha right now fruitful? Is Saturn not hitting some other planet? Or Jupiter is not hitting some other planet that can cause disturbance, so then you will have to align with that planet. So there's all these syncrasies that you have to deal with, especially when you look at individual horoscope and when you look at individual charts. But on a surface level, a very benefic Jupiter in terms of you'll find a lot of beneficence from other people. So especially when you go out on a date, you'll have a lot of intellectual dates. Very intellectual, very much, I'm looking for a particular term, like dates who might be a bit activists. Like they want to fight for something. Why? Because then Jupiter is in the 7th house, trine from Saturn. Their intellectualism has a strong purpose that they want to kind of change into the world, bring into the world. This is also the period you will see your in-laws will make big investments in-laws will make big investments, big expenses they will have. And why not? Sometimes you want to have expenses. You want to spend money on yourself. A lot of like a pilgrimage trip can happen, long distance trip can happen. On the other hand, if you have children, like not middle-aged children, but pre-teens, teens, their friend circle is about to rise. They're going to be making a lot more friends now. And on the other hand, some big furniture for either your puja room, meditation room will arrive by the mother. Or mother will get it. Okay? And mother may call you, hey, can you help me with this particular big furniture? On the other hand, this is, Venus rules the 10th. If you have moon in the sign of Gemini as a Capricorn ascendant, most definitely this would be the period of promotion. Some promotion or new job offer comes in that gives you more money. Okay. But especially for those who are looking to get into financial crypto area, magnificent Rahu till especially June, because Jupiter's blessing are there. Because Jupiter is also the 12th lord of finance and investments, looking at the 2nd. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of 2026 horoscope for your ascendant. Remember, if you want any consultations, check out the links here, astrology.com. Otherwise, my marriage course is active on Vedic Astrology Academy, and we will see you tomorrow with some new ascendant. Let's see if you can guess. Bye-bye.